Everyone, again, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to be making a family recipe that I have for white bread. We're going way back in the family archives. It's on this handwritten letter. It was a letter to my grandmother, Cecilia, by her niece, Betty Schilling, from Wellington, Delaware. Going to the Yasik side of the family. That side of the family, they were funeral directors in Wilmington, still are today. So this recipe originally made 4 loaves. I'm going to try to do conversions on the fly here and use quote modern ingredients on some things. So we're going to start. It calls to make a sponge, and I haven't made this in a very long time, so I'm going to do this pretty much the way it calls for it first. Not so much a sponge, but it calls for cake yeast, and that doesn't really exist too much anymore. So I'm going to take a 1/4 cup. In a small bowl, I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of lukewarm water. One package of active yeast, active dry yeast. There we go. And it calls for a teaspoon of sugar. That's for the whole recipe, but a touch extra won't kill it here. And what we're looking to do with that is just to activate the yeast. So I'm going to give that a quick stir. Alright, I put that aside. And we're just going to let that get all happy. So we're going to take 1/6 of a cup that calls for shortening. I'm going to substitute butter. Well, it actually calls for spry. Spry was a name that would be called, shortening would be called for a margarine or oleo. I think it was more margarine than it was shortening. Or oleo, which is margarine. I know that conversion. Alright, so 2 tablespoons of sugar. So that will be 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of sugar. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt to this mixture. Sorry, 1/2 tablespoon. So that's 1 1/2 teaspoons. Okay, so 1 1/2 teaspoons. There's 1 1/2. Fantastic. And we're going to combine that with a cup of milk, and 7/8 of a cup of water. Like I said, originally this made 4 loaves, so I'm cutting this all in half. And then we want to warm this up and scald it just to get the butter or margarine melted. Okay, so I went to the stove and melted up the butter in here. And I've let it cool just a little bit because we don't want to add something too hot to our yeast mixture because that would kill our yeast off right away. And we have our yeast sponge, which if you see it's all gotten all foamy here like the head of a beer. That means it's good to go and alive. So I'm going to transfer that yeast mixture to my KitchenAid bowl. Now even though this is a very old recipe, probably Aunt Ebbie's recipe. I have to go through the family recipe to family tree to figure out exactly what parent belongs where. Family members watching, chime in, please do. Who was Betty Schilling related to? Yada yada yada. Okay, so just in case this is a little bit too warm, this mixture, just to be safe, I'm going to add a little bit of my flour first. Now I have about 5.5 cups of all-purpose flour in here. So I'm going to add some of my flour into my mixer. And mix it up a little bit. And what this is going to do, it's going to incorporate that first yeast mixture that we have in there. That way when I put this heated mixture in here, I don't risk hurting the yeast and killing it. Alright, that's in there. I'm going to leave it on the lowest setting. I'm going to add the remainder of my liquid. Now, before you say they didn't have a KitchenAid in the 20s or 30s, they did. KitchenAid, I believe the patent came out for this in like 1921. I saw that on another channel. So I'm trusting that person. It was on Glenn and Friends. But he's Canadian. You can't always trust our Canadian friends. Before you know, we'll be building a wall there too. Okay, enough political commentary. We got our liquid in there. Now we're going to add our flour in here a little bit at a time. And for this first edition, I'm just going to throw a good chunk of it in. And the way the KitchenAid works here with the dough hook, it works around the outside there. And it starts to pull in the flour from around the outside. This is just like the big stand mixers that you'd have at a big commercial bakery, just on a much smaller scale. One thing you need is, you want to have is a nice long spatula so you can reach in and kind of help it down. There's about a little more than a 1/16 of an inch of clearance from where the dough hook goes to the side of the bowl. It's even less with a wire whisk. It's only about a 32nd of an inch. So it says that we're going to add flour, and we are going to mix it very thoroughly until a stiff dough is formed. And this is nowhere near stiff yet. So we're going to add a bit more flour. I'd say I'm up to about 5 cups worth of flour now, maybe 4 3/4. Now you see me make those right by hand too. That's how I made the pierogi dough the other day. So KitchenAid's great, but if you don't have one, it can be done just fine the old-fashioned way. Alright. And what you're seeing here now is the dough is is all clung up to the hook, but it's starting to pull all the flour off the outside. We're gonna add a little bit more flour at this point. And now you see the dough is getting ready to come off the hook and move to the outside of the bowl. So what you want to do a few minutes into the kneading, just stop your mixer and you give it a help by gotta put this down for a sec. You give it a help by pulling it off the hook. I can still feel that's really sticky, and there's not much flour left to be grabbed, so I'm going to put another handful of that in. So of that 5 3/4, there's probably about a 1/4 cup left. Clean off that hook. Let it get back to kneading. Alright, gonna pull it off one more time and see where we're at. Still feels pretty sticky, so I'm gonna add the rest of this. But if this doesn't do it, we're gonna work it by hand. Okay, so now you see the dough isn't really sticking to the hook. It's more working off the outside of the bowl. And as I say that, it starts sticking to the hook. But not really quite as much. It's working, it's pressing on the outside, it's kneading. I'm gonna let that go for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna, so right now it's developing gluten, and then I'm gonna finish it by hand, show you how we want it to look. Alright, the KitchenAid guy's down to the 5-yard line now. We're going to ram it home for the touchdown. Gonna put some flour here on my work surface. Grab our dough and just give it a knead. And a knead dough, you just kind of pull it back and bring it onto itself. See right here, it was pretty close. It's not really not sticking at all. Fight the urge to add, if it's not sticking to the board, don't add any flour. It's tough to introduce liquid back in. See, here we had a little bit of crumbs that never got picked up, or only got picked up a little bit. It's okay to let them, don't obsess about that had to be here. Just a little bit of flour that didn't make it. We want one, we want a good dough, and we got it. You could boil up some water and throw a little bit of butter into that, and you can make yourself some real quick dumplings or soup out of that. All right, so our dough looks pretty good here. So now we're going to take it in a bowl. I have some, just some vegetable oil on the bottom. It actually called for shortening, but the whole point here is so it doesn't stick to the bowl. So if we put grease in the bottom bowl, grab your dough bowl and use it like a brush to grease your whole bowl, and flip it over so the whole side is greased. And then we're going to cover it, and this wants to rise for until, it does say up for 2 hours, or until doubled and full. So I'm going to leave it in a nice warm place, free from draft, and we'll be back. Okay, our dough has risen up, double and full. Now we're going to split this between 2 loaf pans. So I have a flour burst surface here. Turn this on out. There she goes. Alright. So it took a little bit less than 2 hours, but it has risen all the way up, so I'm just going to cut this in half with my bench scraper here. Great tool to have if you don't have one. And all I'm going to do is kind of work this a little bit into a loaf-like shape. Drop it into our loaf pans, which I have greased. You want to work so you have a smooth side up. So quick knead. And work the dough, fold in underneath itself. Loaf pan, and we're going to cover these and let them rise for another hour. Towards the end, we're going to preheat our oven to 425 degrees, and that's what we're going to start baking them at. So another hour, so say about 50 minutes in, get your oven going. Okay, so our dough has risen up again, and you see it's up over the top of the pans. What we're going to do is grab a knife here and just go across the top. Put one cut in. We're going to throw this in a 425 degree oven for 15 minutes, then we're going to reduce the heat to 350 for about another 20. But we're going to want to keep our eyes on this. All right, we'll check on it in a few. All right. So we went about 15 minutes at 425, then we lowered the heat to 350. And now we have 2 loaves of bread. Nice little loaf of white bread there. Got 2 of them. And we're just going to butter the top right now. What that's going to do is give you that soft little white bread tasting crust, like that, like like all those breads you grew up with. So maybe tomorrow I'll make a BLT or some other kind of nice sandwich. Alright, then you want to let this cool before you try to take it out and slice it. So, we'll let it do that. We'll take a look later. Okay, our bread's cooled down. We're going to grab it and take it out of our loaf pan. Comes out no problem. Let's give it a slice here and see what it looks like. And you look here at the crumb. It's got the texture of white bread. Got the feel of white bread. You taste the butter that's on it, and especially the butter off the top of the crust. And it's got a little bit more chew than your supermarket white bread. All in all, if I was going to make white bread all the time, I'd probably just spend $1.50 to go to the supermarket and buy white bread. But this is a little better. Plus it has all that family history behind it. So this is Great Grandmother Yasik's white bread. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy.